doing well and staying sane, I'm just going to do a little mobility work. So if you have some free time and want to work on your mobility, awesome. Let's start. All you really need, you don't even need a mat if you have carpet or some place comfy to sit and lie down. A resistance band or a towel will work just fine. So let's start by crisscrossing, crisscross applesauce, if you will. Just getting a little bit taller through your spine. And on your next exhale, just walk your fingertips away from you. See if we can release some of that tension in our lower back. Maybe just drop your chin to your chest and take some full breaths in, focusing on keeping your hips down on the ground. And then slowly walking both hands, both arms over to the right side. Creating some space through those right ribs. Still focusing on full breaths in and out. And then walking those hands, arms through the center and on over to the left. See if you can deepen that side stretch. Really, really stretch through those right ribs. And then walking those hands, those arms back to the center and back to your lap or your body. Just working through a little neck stretch here. So your hand can help you or you don't need to. Let's take our, I feel like I've lost all ability to mirror. Let's take our left ear down toward our shoulder. If you want, you can give yourself a little extra resistance with that hand. Maybe even moving it around just a little bit, nice and gently. And then letting your head, your chin roll through the center. Ooh, and on over to the right. You can help it or not help it. Maybe finding a little gentle movement here, maybe not. Bringing your head back up to center. Let's go ahead and take our legs straight out in front of us. Just move those ankles around, point and flex your toes. Before pulling your toes, all 10 of them, back towards your belly button. Let's take a big inhale, reaching our arms up overhead. I'm very out of frame, but I feel like fixing it right now is a bad idea. And then as you exhale, folding forward, reaching toward those toes, toward those feet. Maybe you only come to shins, maybe you only come to your knees. But seeing if you can find a little release again in that lower back. I know a lot of us are forced to be less mobile, less active than we're used to. My lower back is already noticing a big difference. So I'm going to start to focus some effort to keep it as loose as I can. Breathing in, reaching high up to the ceiling. Breathing out, folding forward. See if you can lengthen your spine here. Pull your chest forward. And then on an exhale, you can go ahead and fold over, feeling that lower back, those hips. And then walking yourself back up to a seat. Go ahead and crisscross. Let's crisscross the other way if you can. Feels super weird. But we'll just work through a little mid-spine twisting. So bring your arms out to the sides, elbows in line with the shoulders. And then with our breath, we're just going to twist side to side. You can move slowly or a little faster or alternate between the two. Whatever feels better, whatever you feel like you need more of today. Couple more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Keeping that opposite crossover in the legs. Let's go ahead and drop our head, the side that I started on, which is of course my right, not my left. Take the right ear toward the right shoulder. Maybe some gentle movement. And then roll on over to the other side. Maybe there's gentle movement here, maybe there's not. And then head comes back up to center. This time we're gonna take our legs, our feet nice and wide. You can keep a tiny bend in those knees if it feels better, or you can just let them rest. We all have different mobility in this area. Let's start to walk your hands, your fingers forward. Maybe even press your fingertips into the floor and create a little traction here. Contract through your belly. Pull that floor toward you. And then relaxing here. Let's take both arms and walk them over toward our right foot. Keeping your chest open. And then reaching that opposite arm up and over. Just getting a really nice stretch through your right side body. And then flipping your nose down toward your knee. You can see under my couch, I fully expected there to be a rogue piece of popcorn or two. There's not, so I'm pretty proud of that. And then go ahead and walk those fingers, those arms on over to the right side. Chest stays open. Left arm reaches toward right toes. Really open up, twist upward through that spine. Rib cage. And then go ahead and flip nose toward knee. And walking those arms, those fingers back to center. Maybe your forearms reach the ground, maybe they don't. Let's tap out our knees a little bit, just picking one knee up and then the other, little bends. If you can create a little more space through your hips. And then relaxing, sitting tall. We're gonna make our way to tabletop. So hands and knees. Just gonna play around with moving our spine a little bit. So shoulders directly over wrists. Go ahead and inhale, drop your belly toward the ground, lift your tailbone up, lift your chest. See if you can peek your clavicle through your shoulders. So open up through your chest, feel that stretch through your belly. And then on an exhale, reverse that movement. So tuck your tailbone under, tuck your chin. Round through your spine, press your shoulder blades up toward the ceiling. Squeeze your belly. And then on an inhale, reverse. This is cow. If you're familiar with yoga. And exhale, reverse. One more time, inhale, cow. If you hate yoga, pretend I'm not using yogic terms. Just turn your sound off and do what I do. On an exhale, around through your spine. And then relax. Maybe find a little wiggle here, a little hip shimmy. Go ahead and tuck your toes under, and we're just gonna lift our hips up toward the ceiling. I wonder if I walk back over this way. For downward dog. Move your head around. Just shake your head yes. Shake your head no. Pull forward until you're in a plank pose. Pull those shoulder blades down and back. Make some muscles work here. Lots of us just hop into plank pose and don't really think about the way that we should be using this pose for strengthening. If you want, you can rock front to back. And then as you're ready, on and exhale, send your hips up and back, downward dog. And coming down to those knees, untucking your toes, sending your hips back for some child's pose. Coming back up to hands and knees, tabletop. Let's reach our left arm up toward the ceiling. And then we're gonna thread our left arm underneath of our right until our shoulder finds the ground. This arm, you can find a bind. You can bring it up by your head, by your face to support you, or you can walk it wide. Whichever feels good, we wanna open up through those shoulder blades. And then see if you can shift your hips just a little bit closer to the top of your head. Find your breath here. And then carefully bringing that right hand down flat to the ground, making your way back to hands and knees. We're gonna try the other side this time. So right arm lifts up toward the ceiling, and then we're gonna reach that arm underneath our body and set ourselves up on this side. Shifting your hips just a little bit closer to the top of your head. Deepen that stretch. Finding your breath here. And then carefully making your way back to all fours, hands and knees. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back. Let your head drop. Maybe shake it out. On an inhale, roll forward to plank. Send your energy back through your heels. Reach the top of your head forward. Open up that chest. You can hang here for a few more breaths, or if you're ready, downward dog. And then making your way back down to hands and knees, tabletop. Inhale, belly drops, chest lifts, tailbone lifts. Exhale, reverse. Relax, come to a neutral spine. We are gonna lie down on our backs and take our towel, resistance band. If you have a yoga strap, you can use that. but just something so that you can hook it over the bottom of your foot and are able to hold on to each side with both hands. So we're lying on our backs, left leg extended up to the ceiling. Right leg is going to be long, nice and long on that mat. We're going to pull our shoulders down and back. And then we're just going to pull that towel, that band, whatever you're holding on to. If you don't have anything, gently hold on to your leg. Just try not to pull on your knee. Keep your chest open. And just every few breaths, see if you can pull that leg, pull your toes just a tiny bit closer to your face. Breathing here. Taking both ends of the strap or towel in your right hand, let's just guide that leg gently across your body. It doesn't matter how far your leg reaches. I don't really care how flexible you are in that way. Try to keep your shoulders down. And we're just finding a nice stretch in our IT band, the outside of our thigh. Continuing to breathe. And then bringing that leg back up to the center, grabbing both sides of the towel or strap in your other hand, and then let that leg fall. Guide it carefully to the outside, trying to keep your hips down. Just stretching through the inner thigh this time. Again, I don't care if your foot touches the ground. Just want to create a nice stretch right here. And then bring that leg back up toward the ceiling. See if you can pull it in a little bit tighter this time, maybe even bending your knee. And then carefully switching legs. So right leg's going to come into the towel. Left leg extends on your mat on the ground. And then we're going to pull your right leg back toward your face. Carefully taking both sides of band or towel in your left hand, and then guiding that leg across your body for that IT band stretch. And then bringing the leg, the towel, the band back up to the ceiling, pulling it in a little tighter before switching sides and taking that leg away from you. If this does not feel good on your knee, just take a big bend in that knee. Bringing the leg back up to ceiling, grabbing both sides of the towel, pulling it in toward your face. And then carefully releasing this foot, hugging your knees into your chest. Maybe rock side to side. If this feels good on your lower back, my floor is so creaky. If you want and are familiar with Happy Baby and want to try it, go for it. If you've never tried it and want to, do it. Just kick those feet up toward the ceiling and pull your tailbone down toward your mat. Open up your chest. You can move or stay still. It's a great hip stretch. If you want, you can even grab a hold of your big toes and straighten those legs wide. And then hugging those knees to chest again. Before releasing both legs down on your mat and both arms back behind your head. Arch through your spine, take a big inhale for a full body stretch. And then as you exhale, push your lower back to the mat. Just move my whole rug. Inhale, arch. Exhale, small of your back to the mat. Making your way up to a seat in whatever way feels good. We're going to take a half pigeon on both sides. So, coming to hands and knees, making your way into downward dog. Let's just lift our left leg up and back behind us. Really stretch through your spine. Reach that heel up. And then bring your left knee in toward your left wrist and plant it on the mat. Lots of people will have you try to turn your shin parallel with the front of your mat. I hate that. It feels terrible to me. So don't stress out if you can't spin that shin. Just leave it where it falls. And you can stay up tall in your chest, or you can fold forward coming down to your forearms, or even walk your arms out in front of you if you have space for that. So we want to make sure our back leg is nice and straight. It's not leaning out to one side or the other. And then we just want to settle in to this hip stretch. For most of us, this is not a comfortable stretch. But if you can just focus on your breathing and stay here for a little to release some of that tension. We're going to stay on this side for about 30 more seconds. And then start to walk your hands back toward your body. Lift your chest up nice and tall. Tuck your back toe under. And see if you can lift that left knee up off the ground. And then make your way back to downward dog. We're gonna hit the other side. So right leg lifts up and back. Really stretch, straighten that leg. Open up your fingers, press your palms into the mat. And then pull that right knee forward and plant it near-ish your right wrist. If you want to square up that chin a little, you can, or just leave it where it is. Straighten that back leg. Again, on this side, you can stay tall on your chest. You can walk it down to your forearms, or even walk those hands away from you. And just try to settle into your breath here. Even if it's really, really tight and uncomfortable. If there's pain, definitely come out of it. But if it's just tightness and tension, try to work through.
I didn't get that. Could you try?
Staying for about 30 more seconds. And then walking both hands close to your body. Picking your chest up nice and high, tucking that back toe under, and lifting that right knee off the ground, pressing back to downward dog. One last time. You can pedal your heels or even cross one leg over the other to add some resistance for a nice big calf stretch. If you have one leg crossed over the other, go ahead and switch. And then coming down onto hands and knees. That's all I have for you. If you are a practitioner of yoga or are interested in it, go ahead and take a Shavasana right now. So lie down or sit down, get comfortable, and just zone out for 5 or 10 minutes. Focus on your breath. See where your mind takes you, but then keep trying to bring your attention back to your breath. So thanks, guys.
Sure, I understand.
Keep bumping my watch and it's talking to me.